What a crazy 7 days it's been. Everyone seems to have gone to hell, Talara is going to the Dark Ages, Marvel showed us its goodie bag, the secret world is staying secret for just a little bit longer, there was a massive disturbance in the Force, and also no extra innings will be seen over at Rhode Island's premier game studio. All of this and more on this week's MMO for the Win. I'm Bill Murphy, and this is the premiere episode of MMORPG.com's recap of the week that was in the MMO industry. Coming at you from a shiny fake soundstage in my spare bedroom, with the power of a green sheet and fancy graphics. We spare no expense for your entertainment. So, with all that said, let's get to it, shall we? Activision Blizzard announced that Diablo 3 set a brand new PC game sales record with 6.3 million copies sold in the first week alone. I know, it's very shocking that Diablo sold a lot, but that's a record-breaking number, folks, and it doesn't even include the 1.2 million people that have Diablo 3 from the annual pass through World of Warcraft. Nor does it include the people playing in cafes across the world in Asian territories. It's safe to say that despite the RMT, lots of people have been waiting for this game for a very long time. I can only imagine what's going to happen when the RMAH, the Real Money Auction House, goes live. Here's your headline for 3 weeks from now using my highly deductive psychic powers. Blizzard buys Cuba. Requires online always for all of its citizens for everything. Fidel Castro doesn't give a damn because he's too busy farming Belial. It's a very long, stretched out headline, but I don't write them, I just see what's going to happen in the future like that kid from Touch. He's very good at math. Anyway, what's up next? Rift. It's all about Rift. Conquest is hitting Talara. This week the fine folks at Tryon announced that 3-faction PvP is coming with patch 1.9. It takes place in slivers, which are essentially alternate realities for the world of Talara, and it's a persistent ongoing warfare between 3 completely new factions for players to choose from. Many games are going this route these days. I mean, we could talk about the Secret World, Guild Wars 2, and all that stuff, but it all goes back to Dark Age of Camelot's formula from EA Mythic. Well, then it was just Mythic Entertainment. I, for one, am glad to see PvP is getting a nice long look in Rift, and I can't wait to see how Conquest irons out. We'll have plenty of coverage for that over the next few weeks. On top of that, though, we received a nifty wooden box full of cryptic hints from Tryon's home base. Well, what we assume is Tryon's home base. It's very cryptic after all. The box says a storm is brewing, and here's what we have in it. We have these souls, like shoe soles, insoles. My guess, maybe have something to do with some new souls coming to the game. We have this little level, like a little keychain level, that has the number 10 on it. Maybe a level 10 levels increase. We have a whole bunch of old iron keys, 6 of them. I have no idea what this means. Perhaps it's a bunch of islands, some new zones coming to the game. We have these glass prisms that look like this. If you know, in crafting with Rift, there's actually a bunch of prisms, and maybe there's something to do with a new crafting profession coming. And we have these scrolls that mention raids. There's 2 of them, perhaps 2 big new raids. And we have a key that says Port Tempest. That's a golden key. Maybe it means something to do with a brand new city coming to Rift. And last but not least, we have this beautiful, sleek red cape that makes me look stunning if I wear it over my shoulder like a matador. I have no idea what this means. Perhaps it has something to do with a new race or a new class or something coming to Rift. Or it's just sexy. It's just sexy. All of this points to a brand new expansion to Tryon's flagship MMO, and I suppose we'll find out more about that in the coming weeks. My guess is you'll hear a lot about it at E3, but again, I'm just using those mathematical skills like that kid from Touch because I'm obsessed with that show. Next up, Marvel Heroes. The brand new MMO from Marvel Entertainment shows us its first gameplay trailer. First thoughts? Ultimate Alliance, the MMO? More and more details are surfacing slowly, and it definitely looks like Marvel Heroes is going to be more like Diablo than, say, something like City of Heroes. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it remains to be seen if the choice to make players take on the role of established Marvel heroes is going to backfire. People like to create their own hero. Me, if it's half as fun as Ultimate Alliance 2, I'll still be happy. I mean, it's free to play, it's a beat 'em up, and I get to be Captain America. Can't beat that. Next, The Secret World. It's been delayed 2 weeks to July 3rd, and it's not really a mystery why. There was a lengthy post on the official forums that says essentially it all comes down to business, 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 money, 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 market positioning, and so forth. It's not really about polish, it's all about just making sure the release window is as good as possible. The good news, though, is that the fine folks at Funcom outlined the rest of the beta weekend schedule, including a late June PvP weekend. That's right, the Dragon, the Templars, and the Illuminati will all be fighting about the end of June. Templars for the win. If you're smart, you know that the Illuminati is a bunch of posers, the Dragon just want to be ninjas, and the old ways are best. Don't forget this simple fact. And go Templar, like me. Now we're going to move on to the two most depressing stories of the week in MMO. BioWare and EA announced that a restructuring of its staff is taking place, resulting in the layoffs for a lot of folks working on the Old Republic, including one of the finest community managers I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. But what does it mean for the game's future content? What does it mean for the future of the Old Republic in general? EA's John Riticello stated that the game is still a top priority and in the top 10 of all of its properties, but that it's more in line with Tiger Woods than, say, something like John Madden football. You can take that to mean what you will. All I'm saying is Godspeed to those affected by this restructuring. And I'm not kidding when I say may the force be with you. It's a terrible thing to happen, and I know you'll all land on your feet. You're too good not to. But that segues us right into the last and more depressing story of the past week and maybe the past few weeks. 38 studios and Big Huge Games. Both of them have laid off their entire staff. Big Huge Games made Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, and 38 was making codename Project Copernicus, which was the MMO due out next year. 379 employees were now without a job. And while it's possible that new funding could bring people back, I wouldn't be counting on it. To think of all the heart, soul, and passion that went into this game, and that went into both those games, the entire property, the entire world of Amalur, it's just depressing to see it all go to waste. There are probably a multitude of lessons to be learned, but I'm not qualified to determine what those may be. I'm just some games pundit that likes to talk and ramble for hours on end. So on behalf of everyone at MMORPG.com, I merely want to wish everybody involved, from Kurt Schilling all the way down to the guy that cleaned the floors at 38 Studios. I want to wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors. It's never cool when something like this happens, and it happens all too often in the MMO world. People lose their jobs and then find new jobs somewhere else. But this is an entire studio with a property that never got to see the light of day, and we can only hope that something good comes from this all. I know we'll be watching and reporting on it as more stuff develops. That does it for this week's MMO for the win. Let's hope that next week brings with it a little more smiling and a little less frowning. It'll be the week of V3, so maybe our hype meters will be off the charts and we'll have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. You can follow us on MMORPG.com on Facebook. You can follow us at MMORPG.com on Twitter. You can follow us at MMORPG.com at Twitch.tv. I think you might see a pattern. You can also follow us at MMORPG.com on YouTube. And of course, you can come over to MMORPG.com and just read all of the kick-ass content we have on the site. I hope you have a great week, folks. Don't let a bad pug get you down.